Howdy, folks. I'm Courteous Columbia, casually cooing cordial calls.
I'm Amber.
And here are more cordial calls for us to make as a dove of some form or another. Let's get started. Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for banning my girlfriend from using glass cups when she is over at my house? My girlfriend has problems with glass. She's clumsy, always has been, and she has broken many others before now. And I would not mind, but she also is terrible at cleaning. This past week alone, she dropped 3 glasses, 1 jar, 2 bowls, a coffee cup, and busted a plate by leaving it on the stovetop while the oven was preheating. Despite warned many times before that the items should not be left on the burners when the oven is heating because the conduction carries through. She has been stressed out at work, so I kind of attribute it to that. I can't really say which glass objects have injured me, specifically each time, just that I have been limping for a week because I am stepping on big glass shards that went into my foot, and some smaller ones too that went into my foot as well. Plus some of my palms because I missed them when I kneeled down to pulled out the ones that were in my foot. I have stepped on or pressed my hand into glass 4 times this week. Tonight, when she asked for a soda, I poured it into a plastic cup instead of a glass one like she prefers and said that she couldn't use my glasses and she pitched a fit. I can't phrase it differently. She progressively got angrier at me for bringing up the other broken glasses because they were just accidents. And I shouldn't punish her, especially because I started mentioning others before this week. But even so, I am sick of going through gauze and tape. She insists that I'm making a mountain of a molehill, and I should clean up after myself to my specific specifications because she does her best. Alright, folks, what do you think? Smart man for giving her plastic, or a terribly unreasonable human being?
Yeah, definitely not the jerk here. Like, it is one thing to break the occasional dish. We all do it.
Yeah.
But to break that many dishes in 1 week and then be so bad at cleaning up these dishes that your partner is injured and then tell him it's his fault for not cleaning to his specifications, like not being concerned that he's got his hands and feet cut, but no, he should have cleaned it to his specifications even though he didn't make the mess.
Yeah, well, I don't think that OP's in the wrong here. But I do think that if OP observes a pattern of behavior where she doesn't sweep as thoroughly as she should after she ends up breaking glass, that maybe doing a once over after she's finished cleaning up would be a good idea.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the plastic cup is a great alternative, and if she can go a while without dropping plastic dishes, then maybe she can go back to the glass cups. But if she's going to, like, I'm also just concerned, though, about the relationship in general. If she has so little concern for OP's well-being.
Yeah.
Like, if her big concern is, how dare you bring this up, you're just not cleaning well enough. That's not a good way to approach your partner's pain and suffering.
No, it really isn't a good approach here, and I am concerned as well. It doesn't seem like she's pulling her weight. She should be cleaning more thoroughly. If she is breaking these glasses, she should be, apologizing. I certainly understand her not wanting to be, having her mistakes held against her, but this is a matter of safety, right? If she can't prove that she can be responsible with glass cups, then she doesn't need to be using glass cups, right?
Well, and if I were to break that many, glass items, I would just ask for plastic from there on out. I'd be like paranoid of breaking them again. And what about the financial toll to him too? Like glass dishes, like, yeah, you can get them at the thrift shop for cheap, but it's not like they grow on trees or anything.
Yeah. So I think the situation is bad. And I think that OP has every right to ask her to use plastic. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Mathematician Flat 597 says, Info, does she have any neurological diagnosis? Or does she show any signs of undiagnosed neurological disease? The amount is really concerning. How is she dropping them? Do her hands go weak and she drops them? Does she have tremors? Does she just trip and drop them? Either she's dealing with something that she needs to see a doctor for, or she's doing it on purpose. Clumsy people don't break things that easily or often. There's many neurological illnesses that flare up when someone has a lot of emotional or physical stress. I was just assuming she was knocking them over. I wasn't assuming that she was actually letting go of them, because that's usually how, if I've ever broken anything, it isn't because I've dropped it, right? It's because I've knocked it over.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I mean, I've smashed a couple of plates, just by hitting them with my fork too hard and they go flying, but
Well, but yet still knocking it over,
yeah.
right? And OP replies, I've never seen her drop them. Sorry. She's always dropped them when I'm out of the room. I don't know how she would take me asking either right now. We're kind of just letting each other cool off. But her parents and sister says that she's always been like this, and she says the same. She says that it isn't as much as it's spelled out like this, and that I'm seeing it more of a cluster together because I'm frustrated. And Rosefly says, this reply only increased my unease. Please consider my reply to your other comment that this could be deliberate. Does this happen at her place? Does it happen in the public? You need to really start paying attention to this, as if there is a chance that it is deliberate, you have a big problem. And Sister of Gandalf says, good question. Does she break her own stuff or just other people's? I assume never on a date night, since you have never seen it happen. And OP replies, not really breaking stuff on dates, but she has spilled drinks a few times or dumped her plate, so it could be just genuine clumsiness. The times that I have seen it was quick sweeping move that dumped off the edge, like she didn't realize how far or fast she was pushing it because she was just focused on what she was saying. And that's kind of what I was assuming, is that she was just accidentally knocking them off. I mean, this would be pretty disconcerting, though, if she is actually breaking stuff on purpose.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like, even if it is unintentional, if it's something like dyspraxia, like or she has a very unaware of where her body is in space, there are therapies to help with that. And it seems like if an issue is this severe, it needs to be addressed, and her refusal to accept it and just to dismiss it is a big problem.
Mm-hmm. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not wanting to crochet my friend's entire wedding dress for free? So, to make a long story short, I kind of started a weird tradition in my friends group. I'm not able to go to weddings as much because I have kids, so instead I've been hand making crochet stuff for my friends to wear, mostly small things like scrunchies and gloves. Most of my friends have been super appreciative and love getting handmade gifts, since they know that it can take me hours or even days depending on how big it is. Well, we found out that my friend Jay is getting married in April, and we're all super happy for her. But it does seem like short notice. Jay asked me if I could crochet her a wedding dress that looked like her grandmother's, since the original dress was lost in a fire this summer. She wants everything to be exactly like her grandmother's dress, down to the yarn color. I was taken a bit aback, to say the least. That a dress that scale would take months, not to mention finding a color match to the yarn, since it's not super easy. I asked her to send me some pictures of the dress and to see what I could do, and just say the thing is gorgeous, but there's no way even a skilled crochet expert could get it done in less than 2 months. I politely explained to her that I couldn't possibly make a whole dress for her in such a short period of time, but I could make a cute shawl with the same stitch to pay homage to her grandmother's dress. She responded by saying that I was a bee because I was playing favorites with friends by not making her what she wanted, and then dramatically stormed off. Our friends are kind of split. All of them who do homemade crafts agree with me that Jay's expectations are unrealistic. My other friends seem torn because on one hand the dress meant more to her than just a regular project, and that I should have handled it more gently than I did. Alright folks, what do you think? Should have OP have handled that more gently?
No, not the jerk here. This is an unreasonable ask. I think it's very clear she doesn't understand how much time, how much labor goes into crochet. You don't get to ask your friends to like make you a wedding dress for free and then on 2 months and then get upset when they can't do it. Like, that is not something that a lot of humans can do.
Yeah.
And so I think this was a big ask, and if she knew she was going to get married, well, one, you shouldn't be asking your friends for free dresses in general anyway. Like, she should at least be willing to compensate the yarn and whatnot, because it's probably going to take a fair amount of yarn to crochet an entire wedding dress.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, there's all the time and energy that goes into it. It's a big, big ask. She should have been willing to pay OP a pretty penny for it.
Yeah, well, and I kind of want to bring that up. I mean, it sounds like OP was willing to humor her request.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that OP opened the door and said, hey, I can see what I can do. And then she told her friend that, no, I can't do this. It's not realistic for me to do it in such a short period of time. Her friend is the one who's choosing to get married in 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of that, they should get to the bottom of why she's rushing to actually get married so quickly. Is she pregnant and she wants to get married before she starts showing, or is there some other reason, right? Either way, it doesn't necessarily bode well that she is making these kind of demands so early on, right? Because there's still a couple of months left of her planning and all these other things. I understand her frustration, but again, it's an unrealistic timeline. And it sounds like OP, if they were given like a year, they would have been probably happier to do that. Even maybe not even ask for compensation. Though I do agree with Amber that that is a really big project, and at least compensating her for the yarn would have been a better form, right?
Right. I mean, my personal belief is that you should generally compensate family members, even if it's an exchange of services. Like, my general belief is that you should compensate family members, even if it's more of an exchange of services. Like, you don't necessarily have to hand them a dollar amount, but like, there should be some kind of reciprocal relationship. And I doubt she would be willing to produce an entire dress for OP for free, so it doesn't seem, or something equivalent, so it doesn't seem like a reciprocal relationship.
Well, and I think that every relationship is different, and everyone's going to set their own boundaries about what they think is acceptable or not. And if OP feels like this is acceptable, I mean, that's really on OP. And if OP wanted compensation, OP could even say that at that point in time. So I really think it just depends on the individual and their expectations. So I don't think that there's a hard and fast rule on compensation like that. So
It just seems like the friend is walking all over OP. Like, she made a really kind offer to make her a free shawl in the same pattern, and the friend's just like, nope, you can't make me an entire wedding dress in 2 months for free. You're horrible.
yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Shaman Joe says, not a jerk, does OP even know how to make a dress? And OP replies, I do. I've only ever made one, but it was nowhere near as complex as the wedding dress that she is wanting. It took me over a year to finish it, and it didn't look great, so I ended up frogging the whole thing. Oh no. Not such a good place.
Well, that's another thing too, is the pressure on here. The friend wanted it to be exactly like her grandmother's wedding dress. And even if OP tried her hardest, she's not an experienced dressmaker. So the friend seems like the type of person who would throw a fit if it wasn't identical down to the last stitch.
Yeah. And tired retired nurse says, how much more gently could she have been let down? And OP replies, my friends are saying that I should have been more empathetic to her. I tend to be very direct, so I can kind of see it, honestly. Alright, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for saying no to my son's dancing gig? Bear with me. This whole scenario sounds like a Lifetime original movie. I'm a 42-year-old male, and my twin son's 19-year-old male are both college sophomores. They go to a university in our city, but do not live at home. I pay their tuition and expenses. They are great guys, charismatic, and quite good students. They are also good dancers. A weird thing to usually mention, but this is important later. My late wife's sister is a professional dancer and teacher, and throughout their teen years, taught them jazz, modern swing, salsa, and even some ballroom. So last year, one of their friends was bemoaning their maid of honor duties for her older sister's wedding, including arranging a bachelorette party. They wanted to do something corny and get an adult dancer, but they couldn't find one. Apparently, one of my boys, probably Skylar, being pretty outgoing and a good dancer, piped up and said, hey, I'll do it. Which later turned into, hey, we'll do it. And these guys actually did it. They thought that it was a lot of fun and the easiest $750 that they've ever made. I couldn't care less. In fact, I thought that it was pretty funny. Apparently, with word of mouth, someone else's bridal party asked, and another, and one thing leads to another, and they're doing this a couple times a month. They actually formed a little business, come up with a theme, lifeguards, since they both had done that before, and got their costumes, or lack thereof, and had music professionally mixed, business cards, different levels of entertainment packages, and they even took a male adult dancing academy course online. Who knew there was such a thing? From some guy in Australia that teaches dancing and techniques. So do I care? Not a bit. It's slightly naughty, but actually innocent fun, making a lot of money for what they think is incredibly easy and just having fun. I've seen videos of their routines. I'm only watched up to a certain point, if you get my drift, and actually they are really good and crowd pleasers. Here's the thing. One thing that I do care about is that they have booked a bachelorette party in a month or so. Unlike all the rest, in this case, I know the bride. I know her family, her dad works for me, and I socially know that several of the women likely are going to attend. That just gives me the icks. Go dance and grind for the strangers, but I don't want people I know sticking at dollar bills wherever. And I don't want to run into somebody I know at the grocery store and hear them say, "Oh, I saw Reese and Skylar." In fact, I saw quite a lot of them. I told my boys I would rather if they didn't do the job, and they should refund the deposit. They refused. I then got a little more stern about it. I didn't quite play the "I'm paying for your school" card, but I might have hinted at that. They didn't exactly call me a jerk, very respectful boys, they would never do that, but they are not happy. They say that I am costing them thousands of dollars and their reputation. I'm not sure what they are going to do. So, am I the jerk for putting my foot down? Alright folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think OP's being the jerk here to threaten their educations like that. I understand being uncomfortable with the situation, but I think this is an overreach, and I'm assuming the bride knows isn't okay with it, and the boys are also knowing are okay with it. So if everyone else is on board, I don't see the issue.
I mean, I think that OP is asking the wrong person.
Yeah.
If OP really wants them not to do this gig, then he needs to talk to the bridal party and be like, "I've talked to my sons and they would be willing to cancel if you wanted to cancel," or something like that. And then be like, "Because I don't know if I'm comfortable with this," type of thing. But I think that OP would be a little entitled to do that as well, right?
Yeah. The big problem here is that they are running a small business and it relies heavily on word of mouth. And so to cancel like 1 month out, it might not give them a lot of time to find a new person. And it might, I mean, it's going to cost them the money of this gig, but they're also right that it might cost them down the line if these people are like, "Oh, yeah, those guys bailed on us a month before the Bachelorette."
Yeah, so I do think that this is important work, and that if they're trying to build their business, then this is going to cost them a lot of opportunities or potential opportunities. So I can't blame them for not wanting to cancel, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What did one semicircle say to the other?
Well, one semicircle said to the other, "I think that I'm the other half of you, or you're my better half."
Very, very close. Same idea. You complete me.
Oh, you complete me. How sweet. And I have licorice spice in a non-broken cup. That just happens to be glass. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy special Sunday. And folks, you know what makes it special? You do. And Amber too.
And Brian.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it involve unreasonable requests.
Before making a request, think about what the implications are for the person you are asking.
I think that's fair. I think that's fair. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.